Speaking of the World Economic Forum, it's announced new centers focused on the energy transition as part of its Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution initiative. Meanwhile, energy is a key sector highlighted at the WEF meeting. South Africa, of course, is striving for a just transition away from fossil fuels, seeking sustainable development-driven solutions in order to ensure access to electricity for its growing population and industrialized economy. SABC News economics editor Tshepo Mongoai is in Davos.
Well, as the World Economic Forum here in Davos is concluding, of course, there's an opportunity to reflect on some of the discussions that have been happening here, if whether they've been quite beneficial for South Africa. And of course, Team South Africa has been going around and about looking at clinching those opportunities that eventually can translate in economic growth. And of course, one of the company that is here is Exxaro, our coal mining company. And for more, we are now joined by Exxaro chairperson Jeffrey Qhina. Mr. Qhina, welcome to the SABC. Reflection on some of the discussions that have been happening here as the World Economic Forum is concluding.
Thank you for inviting me. So I think it's been a very positive and a good World Economic Forum for us as a company, especially at the back of South Africa being presiding on the G20, because that's the message, largely underpinned by collaboration. I mean, looking at how we've done as a company, but also as a country through collaboration. Exxaro is very key in energy provision through a partnership with Eskom. But also, as Exxaro, we've made a commitment to be carbon neutral by 2050. And we're on that journey and looking at minerals, other minerals, in particular critical minerals, but also continuing to invest in our renewable itself, being wind, which we presently have, and the solar that we're continuing to do. So engaging and talking to the people, but also getting an appreciation of these critical minerals, what they mean, and how the processing should happen, and how the collaboration should be. I think it's been very positive for us. Yeah.
You are in the fossil fuel space in terms of coal, and we know that there is a dilemma currently globally in terms of the future of coal. The talk obviously is that we should move away from it, but we still need it. You also need funding in some of your projects, and we know that the money has not been interested in sectors that have a high carbon footprint.
Yes, so for us is to strike a balance. I think it's important. You need the energy, and we will continue to do that. But at the same time, you have to ensure that you transition. So it's not that by transitioning you have to abandon it. I think it's very important because we have appreciated what fossil fuels do. So fortunately for now, because of how coal prices have been, we've been able to benefit from that. So we are able to help start on those projects that we have. You are right. I mean, most of these projects, because of their size, will need collaboration. And the fact that we are going into these other minerals, we are finding that the appetite is there for us to be able to access those.
You are moving away from fossil fuel gradually to become carbon neutral. And what are the investment opportunities and pipelines that you have identified and you are undertaking in South Africa?
So when you look at the pipeline, our company team is working very hard to looking at opportunities, especially on the critical minerals, and we're making good progress. I think because as a listed entity, we cannot just say too much, but there is good progress, and I think at the right time, once we think we're at the stage, we'll be able to announce into the market. I mean, these minerals, not only are they key, but by their nature are long-term and they're strategic. So it is important that as a company, we do that in a measured way.
As we conclude, I have to ask about the issue of the CEO who has been suspended. I understand it's now a court matter. Just tell us your position. You know, I'm sure shareholders are interested and want to ensure that you deal with this in a way that will not affect the reputation of the entity.
So as I said to the shareholders, we're committed to ensure that this matter is resolved as speedily as possible. and we're still committed in that. And because now it is going to the courts, I think we need to respect that. I think it's only fair for the company, the shareholders, but also for the individual as well, that this is done in a fair process and in a transparent way. So we're committed that we need to resolve this as quickly as possible. But I think as a company, we're still committed in ensuring that the strategy of the company in terms of diversification, instead of being carbon neutral, continues to do that. Because also, the sooner this matter is resolved, the better, because we have over 6,500 permanent employees and over 13,000 service providers, and they need to continue to be comfortable that we are indeed stable as a company going forward. And I'm committed as the chair of the board that, at least from our side, that this matter can be resolved as quickly as possible.
Well, thank you very much for your time and all the best. That's the chairperson of Exxaro here at the World Economic Forum, of course, reflecting on their presence here and participation at the gathering, and most importantly, the issue that has really raised concern among investors around the suspension of the CEO.